Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the E-commerce Revolution podcast, episode number 28. Yesterday was episode number 27. Rarely do we do back-to-back episodes, but we're here to talk about a similar topic that we had yesterday, at least the industry itself. And we are really excited. This is going to be a fun one today. We love this topic. We love this industry, and we love where things are going. So welcome to this 28th episode of the E-commerce Revolution podcast. We're coming to you live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and now Twitter. I guess I can take the now part out. I think I've said that many, many times. We'll also make these replays available to you on all three platforms shortly after our live episode is complete. And then we will also push this out through YouTube. We will also make sure it's on our website. You will just hear about it all the time. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ramin. I'm one of the managing partners here at SKU Agency, and I'm your host today and every single time we do these podcasts. So before we get started, I just wanted to remind anybody who's joining us live that tomorrow we have a special webinar that we're doing in conjunction with Commerce 7 on the power of email marketing automation for wineries. It's tomorrow, December 7th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Central Time, and 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you join us for that if you are a winery and interested in learning more about how email marketing automation can help your business. This is definitely the webinar to join. All right, let's get this thing started. All right. Guess what? We're talking wine again today, actually specifically winery, but we're talking about technology today. Technology, and this time it's focused on the world of text-based messaging, specifically on how wineries should use text messaging to grow sales, manage club communications, and build stronger customer relationships. I mean, really, isn't that what it's all about at the end of the day? So many industries, including those in the hospitality space, are taking advantage of the power of text-based messaging. So why not wineries? I mean, it's a logical step, right? I mean, wineries are essentially hospitality businesses that happen to make and sell great wine. And aren't we lucky for that? Our guest today is Jennie Gilbert, who, by the way, has become a fast friend to SKU Agency, and we really appreciate she has welcomed us into the industry and really been a friend and helped us navigate the waters. She is the founder of Redchirp, the leading text messaging platform for wineries. Redchirp's rise to prominence has happened very quickly, but Jennie and her team are no strangers to building and scaling great software businesses. So without any further ado, please welcome Jennie Gilbert to the E-commerce Revolution podcast. Jennie, great to have you here today.
Hi, Ramin.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me
Of
today.
course.
I'm delighted.
I love it. I love it. And you just got back from a wine industry show. Just tell us what that show was and what's the vibe out there.
Yeah, Friday of last week from the WIN Expo, the Wine Industry Network Expo in Santa Rosa. It was on Thursday. It was a super rainy day, but that did not seem to damper everyone's enthusiasm. It
Nice.
was awesome. We got to see dozens of our current customers, talk to wineries that are interested in texting for the first time, and be part of a really fun panel about texting as well.
I love it. I love it. And Santa Rosa, birthplace, by the way, of SKU Agency,
Oh,
back 5-6 years ago. And now we're in Austin, Texas, but it has a special place in our heart, Santa Rosa. And the rain doesn't surprise me. This is a very rainy season and always one where we're like, God, we need a little more sunshine. Where can we get a little more sunshine? So great that you went there, and nice to hear that there's a lot of enthusiasm in the
mhm.
winery space and in the wine industry right now. And then we're going to dive into the technology that Redchirp offers and really make sure everybody understands it. For those of who are not already using it, maybe they are. You've got to, as I said, you guys are growing very, very quickly. So thanks for making the time. appreciate it. I know you've got, you have probably back-to-back calls today, doing demos of Redchirp, and which that's what you did for us. And you gave us a really
Mm-hmm.
great demo. And anybody out there, when we get to the end and Jennie gives out information on where you can learn more about Redchirp, take her up on the demo. It is, she does a great job, and it's very clear. You'll understand. So let's just jump into things. I mean, give me a little bit of a background on what brought you, what eventually ended up becoming Redchirp, where you started, and then ultimately why the wine space? Why focus on the wine space? Very curious.
Oh, I'd be happy to. We'll take a little trip down memory lane here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a funny story because being in B2B SaaS was
Hmm.
never the plan.
Oh.
So actually, coming out of college, I was a board certified music therapist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow. I did
totally
not know
different
that.
side of things. And
Wow.
I was a clinician for a little bit, and I was getting ready to go back to work on my doctorate in physical therapy.
Hmm.
And my brother asked me for some help. So my
Okay.
brother Jim had a little B2B SaaS company he was growing. This was early 2000s, and
Hmm.
he was serving independently owned appliance retailers.
Wow.
I needed something to do and a break in between. He said, "Oh, you're probably going to run out of things to do before your semester starts, but please help me." And Ramin, I never ran out of things to do.
Wow. So you basically
Yeah.
created more, you found opportunity within this growing company and helped him out. And I'm sure he's grateful for it. And now you're still connected with
Mhm.
him, right?
That's right. So that was super fun for several years. We grew that company to about 100-ish employees,
Wow.
serving 3,000 retailers across North America. And then, we took some investment, kind of got out of the day to day there,
Mhm.
and we were going to rest. Our
Mm.
plan in 2020 was to take a year off,
Wow. A
starting
whole
March
year.
1st.
Oh,
Yeah.
March. I wonder what happened in March of 2020, but go ahead.
Yeah, there was nothing to do. So we just decided, hey, let's start from scratch. Let's try to build another B2B SaaS company in a different space and see what we can do better this time around, get to know some different industries. So we started working on Redchirp right away.
Wow, wow. And then what led to I mean, was it always supposed to be for wineries, or did that just
Mm.
happen by accident? Did that happen after research?
Mhm.
How did that come about?
Yeah, I can't say that I was smart enough to realize it would be about wineries, not at all. The COVID had just started. We thought all these businesses need better tools for
Hmm.
communicating with all these changes.
Yeah.
So we did initially decide, let's do something with texting, but it was wide open about who we would serve.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
We did a whole bunch of kind of marketing experiments to see who was interested. And trying wineries was actually my husband's idea.
Hmm.
We both love wine, have
Hmm.
belonged to several wine clubs over the years. None of the wineries we regularly purchase from were texting us. And
Interesting.
one day he came to me and said, "Someone just left me a 7-minute voicemail, this winery that he liked."
Uh-huh.
He's
Wow.
like, "I'm
7 minutes on the
definitely,
phone. Like, you have to actually listen to that, right? You have to listen to the
yeah.
7 minutes.
Yeah. And for years, my husband's voicemail has said, "You've reached Scott, please text me."
Yes. I love that. I love that. Yes.
So he was talking about how he loves this winery. He would buy more wine from them, but how
Mm.
annoying it was that they left him this long voicemail. And so that was how we decided, let's try reaching out to some wineries and see if they're interested in texting.
Wow, fascinating. I mean, and we've heard this that from a number of wineries that we've had conversations with that during the pandemic, it was a dial, call,
Hmm.
and who listen. I don't even answer my phone, Jennie. I don't even care.
Hmm.
Like I don't care. Text me. I do. I'm like what your husband. I like
Yeah.
yes, yes. Leave a text message.
Oh,
I will text you back.
I can
Wow.
tell you from some of our research and personal experience, obviously, everybody hates voicemail.
Hmm.
Every single age demographic. We've done some polls on LinkedIn. You get the funniest comments back from people about just how much they hate voicemail. And last week, the Wall Street Journal even published a whole article about how intrusive calling people is and how
Oh
that has
yes.
really changed to almost be something that's rude and people
Right.
only expect bad news. when the phone rings.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow. That's good. I mean, this is very interesting because, we're starting to hear like on our side as we do, sales outreach that people are going back to making phone calls to do sales outreach. And I'm not on board with that because I don't want to annoy anybody. I don't feel like, first of all, who's going to answer the phone when I call? They're not going to answer the phone. But that's very interesting that your husband had a great insight after that 7-minute
Yep.
call. So did you test right away? Did you reach out to wineries immediately based on that information?
Yeah, right away we said, okay, let's make our next marketing experiment wineries.
Mm,
And we, reached out to a bunch. We were measuring like, okay, it's just cold outreach. How many people get back to us?
mm,
And we immediately had some wineries really interested. And the feedback we got was, yeah, this has been on the back of our minds. It's
mm.
something we want to do. We're maybe a little nervous about it because of the high compliance
Right,
requirements in their industry.
right.
And we started, let's see, I think we started serving our very first winery in May of 2021.
Hmm.
And it's just been awesome to get to meet these wineries.
Wow.
They're so enthusiastic about treating their members with,
Hmm.
all these kid gloves and making this wonderful experience for them that it's a
Yeah.
pleasure to help them break through those barriers and reach them.
Yeah, no, and, we find this that a lot of wineries are doing things, legacy, I guess, legacy marketing, things that they've been told this is how it's done, so just keep doing it. But there are many, many that are ready to step out, right? They're ready to try something new, and when something like Redchirp comes along, this probably I can totally understand how it gets them excited. We feel it the same way with email marketing automation, like, oh, you don't send out blasts anymore? No, you can actually automate your messages? Tell me more. Tell me more.
Uh-huh.
So I love this industry for the fact that there's a lot of innovation that happens in it, and I'm great to hear that they've embraced it very quickly. Cool. Maybe just walk our
Mhm.
audience through the software a little bit. Just give us, an overview how the software works and how wineries are really using it to, for their, in the best practices, I guess.
Sure. It's evolved quite a bit in
Hmm.
this short period. We didn't know exactly how they were going to want to text, and all this feedback has led us to add tons of new features to
Hmm.
meet their needs. Today, I would say that most of the wineries on our platform are using some combination of texting in 5 different ways. So, the first, which we anticipated at the beginning,
Hmm.
was they're using it for kind of next generation web chat. So
Okay.
instead of in the browser web chat, it transitions to a text conversation,
Nice.
right? In addition to that, it's become this new tool that their DTC teams have. Instead of just calling people and emailing people for regular back and forth one-on-one customer service,
Hmm.
now they've folded in texting so they can
Wow.
do one-on-one customer service conversations that way. Right?
Nice.
Then, in addition to the web chat and that one on one customer service,
Hmm.
the winery industry has really embraced our payment request feature.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That lets them securely collect credit card information by text. And it
Mm.
just saves these teams days, weeks of time that they were trying to get members to update cards.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Obviously, a big part of a club membership is keeping track of when that credit card expires, making
Hmm.
updates, or somebody wants to change it. How open are the customers? I mean, wineries must be using it. Are they getting any pushback from customers? Like, oh, I don't know, is that safe? Should I do that?
That's an excellent question. It does come up quite a bit that we
Hmm.
get that question. And if I just got texted a payment link out of the blue, I wouldn't click on it either, right?
Sure, sure.
The way that these wineries are using it though, they're having an entire conversation around it. So
Oh,
one-on-one, human to human, they're reaching out, they're texting back and forth, they're giving them options,
hmm,
hey, I know we've had trouble
that's
reaching you. Should I just send you this link? And because of the context of it and how
hmm.
much friction it reduces, it's been overwhelming how much it gets filled out and how trusted it is. Just
Wow.
looking at the stats makes it very clear of all the payment requests that go out from Redchirp,
Hmm.
42% of them come back in less than 10 minutes.
Oh,
and 98% of them come back in less than 1 day.
Wow, that's remarkable. I mean that's a testament to, the conversation process, I guess, really at the end, and not just like, here's a link, like, why
Yeah.
are you sending this to me? How does this help me? So that's a third one. What
Yeah.
are the other two?
Okay, so let's see. Web chat, one-on-one customer service,
Hmm.
those payment requests.
Right.
Then you've got all kinds of applications for bulk messaging when you want to
Okay.
text dozens, hundreds, or thousands of people
Hmm.
at the same time. That's being used for informational messages like last chance to make changes to your club before
Hmm.
we send that out, and also for all kinds of promotions,
Okay.
right?
Nice.
And then you've got your fifth feature that a lot of wineries are really embracing. And I love the overlap that we can maybe work together with SKU Agency on
Hmm.
your automation.
Hmm.
There's all these texts that have to go out all the time, but
Right.
slightly different times to different people.
Right.
So the automation section lets you set up text for things like your wine has shipped. Make sure you're home to sign for it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or, we're so excited to see you for your reservation tomorrow. Please reply to confirm and with the first name of each guest so we can be prepared to greet you. Or tying it in with all of your marketing messaging that you're doing by email.
That's great. Yeah, and we love automation, and we see how
Mhm.
much time it saves, wineries. And I just keep thinking back to that 7-minute voicemail that your husband got. Like, if that had anything to do with your wine is on its way, he may never have even known that the wine was on its way, and it could have sat outside. Right? You're in
Mhm.
Scottsdale, which we know gets a little hot.
Mhm.
So, yeah, very.
I mean, it's a huge challenge for
Yeah,
wineries that you kind of gloss over, or I think some wineries just kind of accept as
sure.
there's no way to make this better, but that's
Hmm.
not true, right?
Yeah,
You're shipping expensive things,
right. Very.
climate controlled in some cases, or held for months so people don't recall that you've been holding this for them all summer or all winter.
Hmm.
It needs to be signed for, so someone has to be home.
Yeah,
Each one of those return shipments, because the stars don't align there, is
right.
expensive
Yeah, and
and
why?
damages the experience.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, these are all the deck. It's stacked to go the wrong way, and if I know that it's on its way, and you're right, people, consumers belong to, they belong to a lot of different clubs, so they're not
Yep.
going to remember a lot of times. Like, oh wait, when's that supposed to come again? When's that?
Oh yeah.
And then they, on average, people don't check their email that often,
Hmm.
as we would love them to. So getting
Yeah.
that tech side in there. Now let's just dive
Mhm.
into the club side. I mean, we know that, wine clubs are incredibly important to wineries, that, that
Mhm.
membership. And we know that churn is a huge problem. I'm out, or yeah, I hold it up like they're going to make that phone call. Like they're probably going to email
Mhm.
in, I'm done. They look at the at the end of the year, like, I belong to way too many clubs. Let me start,
Yeah.
chopping this off. How can Redchirp be beneficial and help a winery reduce that churn? Like, give me some examples of
Mhm.
how they're using it.
Oh, of course. There's so many creative ways that we've seen the wineries use it. I mean, if you go back to basics,
Hmm.
a disengaged club member is an at-risk club member,
Hmm.
right? Everybody's goal in your DTC team is to try to get their members as engaged with them as possible,
Right.
talking to them regularly, customizing the wines that they buy, communicating, knowing them on a personal level,
Hmm.
right? And one of the ways you can do that is simply by shifting the medium that you use. Think about right now, take a minute and think about the people you love the most.
Hmm.
What did
Okay.
you do last to communicate with them?
Hmm. I mean, I spoke to my wife this morning. We
Yeah.
had but she did text me yesterday. She texted me something yesterday. So, and she was in the
Yeah.
house too, by the way. I was in the house too. She was upstairs, downstairs. We were
Uh-huh.
texting. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the people we love the most, if
Hmm.
they're not close enough to yell across the room to,
Right.
we're texting with them.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
text our friends, we text our families, and
Hmm.
increasingly we text with the businesses we care the most about,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just by shifting, instead of just emailing or calling and leaving voicemails that nobody gets, by texting, you're kind of immediately signaling to your members a higher level of intimacy.
Nice. Okay.
right?
Uh,
And then it really facilitates much more effective human to human back and forth.
mm-hmm.
You're probably not going to get a ton of people who write back to your email like, thanks, your wine's
Sure.
on the way, thanks. People just
Right.
see it and move on.
Yeah.
But people reply to texts. We see it every day,
Hmm.
hundreds of messages with people, heart emojis, thanks, thumbs up, so excited. So these
Yeah.
little outreaches actually become these priceless opportunities for
Hmm.
building that relationship and getting to know your members more personally. At the
Yeah.
upcoming Direct to Consumer Wine Symposium, I'm going
Hmm.
to be doing a session with some wonderful DTC professionals. One of them is Libby at Bricoleur. She's in charge of the wine club there. And Ramin, she's like a rock star. When she walks into a wine club event or something, everybody knows
Oh,
her. They're
wow.
giving her hugs. They're
Oh my
coming up and
gosh.
asking and congratulating her on her new advancement at work. And it's
Wow.
all since she started texting with them.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, yeah, I totally get it. I mean, it's funny. I actually text people sometimes when I want to speak, old friends, if I want to speak to them on the phone, I'll text first. I'm like, hey, are you available? Because,
Exactly.
back to that intrusive, I don't want to intrude. They may be eating dinner,
Hmm.
they're probably not going to answer. So yeah, texting is, I mean, we see it in other industries on the SMS side, that reply doesn't
Yeah.
happen in the world of email.
Hmm.
Rarely are the people replying, but when it comes to anything that's text-based, absolutely. Then it's very cool that they're seeing these, they're dropping in emojis to, say thank
Hmm.
you and, all of these things. And, ultimately at the end of the day, the winery can help them reduce this churn that can become
Hmm.
a huge problem in their business. And I need to meet Libby. That's, I gotta see
She's
this as you're
amazing.
walking into a room.
Yeah. I have another example of that. So also on the panel is the wonderful Haley Rose from PageU.
Mm.
The very first bulk text message they sent with Redchirp,
Oh,
maybe a week into using Redchirp, was to members that had opted out of receiving their emails,
oh, interesting.
right?
Okay, what happened?
So this happens to us all, right? It's kind of
Yeah,
crazy. You belong to this wine club, you spend hundreds of dollars with them, you get their wine, but you maybe purposely, maybe not opted out of these emails.
right.
They got this amazing response, and the very first text they got back as soon as they sent it was someone texting, best text I got all day.
Oh, wow. Wow. I love it.
Yeah,
I
so
love
it's
it.
great. It's not a replacement for
Sure.
email or phone calls, but it's
Yeah.
an amazingly effective thing to add on to really
Yeah.
ratchet up that intimacy.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful and great to hear. I mean, look, anybody can go take a look at Redchirp's site, and we'll obviously put this in the show notes, and you can see all the different features that are baked into Redchirp, which there are a lot of them. I mean, just roll over the drop down, you see them all. But I'm really interested in the chatbot side of things.
Yeah.
We're very tuned into AI and how AI is really taking off to help solve. And you have that bot in there. Tell me how it's being utilized. Do you have plans to even, expand the features that are available within the bot? I mean, is it just going to get smarter and smarter every single year where it ultimately does some of the work that a human being should be doing or was doing?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? That's the dream, right?
Right.
So, yeah, so I'll preface this with I might have a little bit of a controversial take on bots.
Hmm.
I think AI is super cool.
Hmm.
I think it's going to become a much bigger part of our businesses and our personal lives as well. My personal opinion is that when it comes to chat or connecting
Hmm.
with hot leads on your website, I don't personally think that AI is ready yet to take
Okay.
those very valuable leads
Hmm.
and convert them like you need to.
Right.
So at Redchirp, we focus a lot on what the technology can do to streamline things, make it
Hmm.
easier and faster for your team, but we're always facilitating human to human conversations,
Right.
right?
I love it.
even even some of the automation, right? Like
Hmm.
obviously a human is not typing,
Sure.
congratulations, your wine has shipped, right?
Right. Right.
But it's set up so that if somebody writes back, oh shoot, I forgot to tell you, then I moved. it's automatically reaching out to every person who's available at the
Hmm.
winery that's assigned to that phone number so that they can personally respond and resolve the problem before it becomes a huge issue.
Okay.
And similarly with web chat. So, you want to automate some things, right? If
Hmm.
somebody fills out web chat on, abcwinery.com's website at
Hmm.
10 p.m.,
Right.
hey, I'm interested in coming to visit next
Hmm.
week. Do you allow dogs to come?
Hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Probably no one's working at 10 o'clock at
Right.
night at the
Right.
winery. We
Right.
want those to come in, right? It's a good
Mhm.
lead. And then we can automate things like, okay, outside of those hours, if nobody's been able to answer in 2 minutes, then we're automatically going to text them to let them know we received it. The team's
Mhm.
gone for the day. We'll be back 9 a.m. tomorrow and get back to you. Here are some links that might be helpful. But
Mm.
we're still trying to preserve that to then go on to a human to human conversation.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I'm with you 100%. I think, AI is great for routing,
Mm,
getting that information in front of the right person, but especially in a business like this. I mean, again, we've talked about it being, it's a hospitality business,
hmm
the winery, human beings, work in the hospitality business. Human beings make the experience better. So how is a bot going to jump in there and start doing all this heavy lifting that a human being? But if the bot can at least take that information and put it in the hands of the right person at that winery.
hmm
And I love that after hours thing because, in so many businesses, you send an email and it goes, after hours, it goes into this dead zone, right? Nobody gets it. Nobody, you don't even know if they got it. Like, I don't know. Guess I'll just check in the morning and see if somebody gets back to me. But if I got an
Yeah.
immediate text back, saying, thank you very much. It's outside of our hours. We're here to help you. The right person will have this in front of them in the morning
hmm
and we'll get back to you. That is powerful. That is a relationship builder right there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, our research has shown, first of all, that in the winery space,
Mhm.
about 30% of incoming web chat leads
Mhm.
from the websites happen outside of
Wow.
traditional DTC hours.
Hmm. Interesting.
So I do come across a lot of wineries. I understand why,
Mhm.
but they kind of turn things off. Like they turn their
Yeah.
traditional web chat off at night when they're not there. They
Yeah.
don't want to create a bad experience. I totally get that. The flip side of that is that they're missing out on a third of
Mhm.
these leads. If you
Yeah.
tweak the process a little bit, you can create a positive experience
Sure.
even
Yeah.
when you're not available to reply right away.
Yeah.
Plus, because you're shifting out of the browser, so it starts on the website, I
Mhm.
want some help, please text me. But then it's shifting to text. So if you can't get back to them until tomorrow because you don't
Mhm.
work 24/7,
Right.
that's fine. All the
Yeah.
pressure's off. You can text them 12 hours after they left your website and still reach them.
Yeah. Okay. So the communication, I'm just let's talk about the consumer. The consumer goes on, and let's play the after hours concept here.
hmm
They have a question about club or maybe a tasting room event or something like that, and it's after hours. But the winery itself, they can if they want to. They don't have to be sitting in front of a computer to do this, right? They can pull up their
Right.
phone, correct? And they can. So
hmm
I get this. I tend to be the other way. I want to answer people 24/7 if I could, and
hmm
yes, we need boundaries in life, and yes, we need to have a life in and of itself. But the fact that I can
Yeah.
pick up a phone and maybe answer a quick question, I love that. I love that that is available. Maybe that's an exception, or maybe there's a team that's available to that. Maybe there's one or
Mhm.
two people who can, who are part of that team that can go maybe a little later into the evening answering some questions.
Oh, yeah. From many of our wineries have actually come to us and said, based on this incoming activity, we have a solid business case for expanding our
Mm,
team so that
mm,
there's more coverage a little bit later in the day or on the weekends for these.
interesting.
And, if you're someone like me and like you, right?
Hmm.
I'll take a sales conversation just about any time that I can,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So every Redchirp user, so each person using Redchirp, they get to set the hours they're available.
Oh, okay.
I have mine, I'm pretty much available except when I'm going to be sleeping.
Hmm.
And when you're available, Redchirp's going to text you if your attention is needed.
Mm-hmm.
An idle conversation resumed, a new conversation started, someone's requesting help with web chat. And great, I might not be at my desk, but
Mm-hmm.
if I'm watching Planes Fire and Rescue for the 57th time with my 3-year-old on the couch on the weekend, I
Right.
could pull out my phone and using the Redchirp app on my personal phone,
Mm-hmm.
I can answer those. I can text with people without sharing my personal phone number. And
Nice.
that
Okay,
works
that's
great for
great.
me, maybe not
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. Does your husband ever look over and go, "Oh, what have I created? What is it? Why did I put this idea out there?" She's always on the phone answering questions.
Well, I'm so lucky that Scott, my husband, and my brother Jim, who we built the first business with, they're also our co-founders. So we're
Oh,
we're
they're
all in it
entrepreneurs.
together.
Everybody's in it
That's
together.
right.
I love it. That's fantastic. So tell me, let's talk about integrations because we
Mhm,
live in from a software side of things, we live in a world
mhm.
now where everything eventually is going to be integrated. If it's not integrated, if you don't have native integrations, you're using Zapier maybe in your business to connect this to that
Yep.
and try to make everything efficient. Talk to me about Redchirp's key integrations right now, and then
Mhm.
we'll just dive into one that I'm really curious about. I think you know which one that is, but go ahead and
Yeah.
just talk about those integrations. How do you guys decide on the integrations?
Sure. So we are super pro integration at
Mhm.
Redchirp. Really early on, we realized, this is a powerful communication medium. You're going to end up having hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of conversations. This has got to work nice and play
Mm,
nice with the other tools that you're using every day. Right.
right.
So we just started listening.
Mm,
What do wineries want Redchirp to talk to? We had quite a few wineries using Redchirp before it integrated with anything wine
mm,
specific.
okay.
And then we just started taking their requests and, putting those away.
Mhm.
So in the point of sale space, Redchirp integrates with Commerce 7,
Nice.
eSeller,
Mhm.
VinSuite, Wine Direct. I
Mhm.
just connected at the Win Expo last week with Orderport. Apparently,
Oh,
they are going to be launching Redchirp integration in Q1 of next year as well.
fantastic.
Yeah, on the reservation side of things, we integrate with Talk. We
Mhm.
integrate with eSeller and Commerce 7's reservation platforms as well.
Mhm.
And then our newest integration path that we're taking is great. Let's tie this into your emails as well. So
Mhm.
Redchirp integrates with Commerce 7's email platform, MailChimp, and Klaviyo as well.
Nice. Well, let's dive into Klaviyo, and you obviously know why,
Yeah.
because we are fans of Klaviyo. That is obviously what SKU Agency does, email marketing. We build our email automation on Klaviyo. Let's talk about the
Mhm,
integration and how ultimately, how are wineries that are already using, or maybe not even using Klaviyo, but are
mhm.
considering it. How do they make those
Yep.
two? But they're already using Redchirp. How do they make those two work, and what are the benefits?
Sure. Klaviyo is super exciting and they do some really awesome things.
Mhm.
What I have mostly heard from our mutual customers is wineries that are looking for more fine-tooth control in
Mhm.
those email journeys, in the flows. Really love Klaviyo's tools for creating those
Yeah.
flows.
Mhm.
And I get a lot of questions like, okay, we're thinking about this. How hard is it going to be? This sounds pretty hard. How do we integrate
Mm.
Klaviyo and Redchirp? It's actually one of the simplest integrations that we
Nice.
have.
Yeah.
it's it's anticlimactic for sure. I was just talking to Adam at Corsi Graves. We
Mhm.
were on a panel together at that Win Expo, and he just made the switch to Klaviyo, and he was getting up the energy to set up the integration. And then he was like, "Oh, I just did it on my couch in like 5 minutes."
Nice.
Super
I
easy.
like it.
Yeah. So, and you are much more better Klaviyo expert than myself. But when you're building your flows in
Mhm.
Klaviyo, my understanding is you can have emails in your
Mhm.
flows, and you can have webhooks in your
Mhm.
flows.
Right.
Okay? Either one of those can become a trigger in Redchirp for a text message.
Oh,
Right?
okay. All right.
So you build whatever you would like in
Mhm.
Klaviyo, and
Mhm.
then maybe you get to a place in your flow and you say, okay, I want to wait 2 days. And if they haven't done this, then I want to send a text.
Okay.
Awesome. Create your webhook in Klaviyo.
Okay.
Then you jump over to Redchirp, create your automated text. It's a couple of
Mhm.
buttons, write what you want the text to say.
Mhm.
And at the bottom, it's going to say, awesome. copy and paste this URL into
Hmm.
your webhook in Klaviyo, and copy and paste this little JSON block into
Nice.
the webhook in Klaviyo. You copy
Nice.
and paste those two pieces of information, and that's it.
Done. Nice. I love it. I love it.
Done.
And that follow-up is, again, we always say email's not dead, but again, it takes people longer to respond to email or even see email. And that,
Mhm.
definitely there's elements of the winery side of the business that are important to deal with right here, right now, quickly, like,
Mhm.
especially shipments,
Yep.
payment information, getting
Mhm.
all of those resolved. And that's where text-based is going to win all the time. So that's great. That sounds like a very easy. I like the fact that he did it on his
Mhm.
couch. I mean, that that speaks. I mean, you showed us how it was, and we felt it was easy. But then we're, feel a little
Mhm.
more tech, a little more tech savvy, and we wondered, all right, well, how do wineries? But the fact that somebody has already told you they did it on their couch. All right, nice, easy,
Uh-huh.
easy. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, both of the wineries on the panel with me last week were new-ish Klaviyo users and
Oh,
Redchirp
nice.
users. They had both done the integration, and they both kind of said the same thing, like, "Oh, it seemed like it was going to be this big thing, and then it ended
Mhm.
up being like the easiest part of the whole thing was just connecting those two."
Yeah.
So
So do
the
you?
sky is really the limit, and I'm excited about how SKU Agency can help people come up
Yeah.
with great ideas about how to use those two mediums together to
Yes.
ratchet up the effectiveness.
Yeah, I think, and a lot of this is, in the world being creative, right? Because, yeah, there's some best practices, but all of this is very new, especially on the tech side of things. Very new. And, with something that's new, there are no rules necessarily. I mean, yes, there are rules on the compliance side of things and
Yeah.
on messaging, but there are no rules on the creative, like, all right, let's try something. Let's try this. It's never been done, or we haven't heard of
Mhm.
any other wineries doing this particular type of messaging.
Yeah.
Let's fire it off and see what happens, and then we'll have a use case out of it and be able to tell.
Yep.
They'll call you and let hey, look what we tried, Jenny. It was amazing.
Mhm.
It worked. And then you've got something that you can pass along to other wineries that they can try it as well.
I
That's
am
great.
amazed at the creativity we've seen, not necessarily tied to an email campaign, but one of the most creative texts that I have seen so far in the winery industry is, I believe it was Pay As You, and they have a mystery box sale. Super
Oh,
fun,
hmm,
right? Big discount, but you don't know exactly what you're going to get, Ramin, right?
I
And
like
then
that.
every day they tell you one more wine. So every day you know a little bit more about what you're going to get.
Oh,
The more you
nice.
know, the less the discount, right?
Oh, wow. Very
And
creative.
then on
Mm,
top of that super creative promotion to
hmm,
start with, as a way to encourage more people to sign up for their text promotions, they
hmm,
had this extra incentive that if you're a subscriber to their text promotions, you're going to get 1 day advance notice every day of
hmm,
what's in there. So you get to know a whole day sooner than everyone
hmm.
else before the discount becomes less. If you're a tech subscriber, what's
Wow.
that next wine they're revealing? And I thought that was just so creative. And they
That's
really got a lot
great.
of people interested in joining because, yeah, that's a value that I want. That's
Yeah.
fun. I want to know what it is. And then also
That's
think about, you're out and about. Maybe it's getting late in the day. Your kids are on your last nerve. You're thinking about opening up some wine. You
uh-huh.
get that text. So immediate, right? So easy
Yeah.
to write back, like, yeah, send me that.
Yeah. I
Even
love
if
it.
you weren't
No.
maybe willing to go to your computer to purchase.
That's a great promotion. I love the, less of a discount, as
Mhm.
so you feel like you want to act sooner, but then you're also like, oh, but what else
Urgency.
is in there? What's in there? Should I wait one more
Yeah.
day? It's this great balancing act. I'm sure they're doing very well
Mhm.
with that promotion. So talk to me about the plans. And actually, before we just jump into plans, I do want to ask a follow-up question. Yeah, I mentioned the word compliance, and we know in the world of texting, just outside of the wine space, there's a
Mhm.
lot of there are a lot of compliance rules. I think all the governing bodies that are responsible for the world of text, they're trying to not let what happened to email marketing in the late, I
Yeah.
think, or maybe earlier 2000s. It got out of hand, right? Spam everywhere.
Mhm.
What do people need to be worried about when it comes to the compliance side, or do they need to be worried at all? I mean,
Mhm.
does Redchirp kind of handle it, take care of it for them?
Mhm. That's, probably the number one question that wineries
Yeah.
come to me with is, hey,
Mhm.
what do we need to know about
Yeah.
compliance? Right?
Mhm.
They're just in a highly regulated industry. They're used to these compliance burdens with everything they do being just a little bit more than everyone else,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So just like shipping and everything else you're doing, yes,
Mhm.
there are some unique compliance burdens that
Mhm.
wineries face when it comes to texting. And then there's compliance burdens all businesses take that have
Mm.
to comply with, right? I usually tell people that there's really four things that you want to think about when
Mhm.
you're deciding what your risk tolerance is for compliance and where you want to stand there.
Okay.
The first is you want to, get up to speed on the laws that surround this. The main
Mhm.
one being the TCPA
Okay.
was written before texting even existed. So
Amazing.
as I'm sure you can imagine,
Yeah.
not super specific, but it does
No.
apply, right?
Yeah.
The second thing you want to think about are the guidelines, right?
Mm.
So the carriers, AT&T,
Mhm.
T-Mobile, Verizon, they all have this organization they belong to called the CTIA,
Mhm.
and they publish guidelines. This
Mhm.
is how we want businesses messaging on our networks.
Okay.
They're not laws, but they're still important because we're all
Mhm.
beholden on those
Mhm.
carriers to deliver our messages to
Sure.
customers using their networks, right?
Right.
Then you want to think about and not forget your own customer's experience and what you
Mhm.
want that to be like. Just because you can text them doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean that you want to, or that's the experience that you want to evoke for that particular thing you want to communicate,
Right.
right? And then the fourth, after you think about the law and the guidelines and your customer's experience, are to make sure that you're up to speed on the unique compliance burdens in the alcohol space, like
Mhm.
age gating and how you're going to register your brands and campaigns with the carriers. There's
Mhm.
special things that have to get done if you're going to be texting about alcohol.
Right.
So just want to make sure that you're working with a provider that's familiar with that
Mhm.
and can
Mhm.
help guide you through it. I like to tell people, hey, it's not a stop sign, but it's a little yield sign, right?
Right. That's a
If
great
you
way of
want
looking
to,
at it. Mhm.
yeah, you can do it. It can be wildly effective. You can do
Mhm.
it in a safe way, in a very low risk way, but you want to just kind of make sure you're working with a partner that can help you
Mhm.
with that. And where it's allowed, some of the super big generic texting platforms
Mhm.
just kind of flat out prohibit any texting about alcohol in their
Right.
terms of service.
Right, right. Yes, we've run into some of those situations.
Yeah.
So I mean, don't send a text message at 6 a.m. to your customer. That's not
Right.
appropriate, right? That's not you just have a lot of it's common sense. But I
Hmm.
think that good to have those guidelines, good to have that yield sign, as you said, and being
Yeah.
aware of it, but not afraid of it. Right? That's the thing is I
Yeah.
think a lot of people get afraid when they hear compliance, like, oh, I need a
Yeah.
lawyer. I shouldn't
Yep.
do anything here. And that's not the way to think.
Yeah. And I mean, I have a great example too about not underestimating the customer's experience in that
Mm,
thought process as well. So at this panel I was on last week, one of the questions we got at the end was, hey, how often can I text someone?
mm,
Right? Can I text them? What do you see? What's your best practices? Can I text them 3 times a week?
mm,
No more than once a month. And my advice back was to flip that question.
mm,
Instead of starting from how often can I send out a text?
mhm.
Come from it from the other side. Okay, how often do I have something truly important and valuable to
Nice.
communicate with this group of customers?
Right. Perfect.
Right? And I guarantee that you don't have the same truly important and valuable thing to communicate to each customer.
Yeah, of course not. Now you might think you do, but you
Yeah.
don't. Right.
Exactly. So, maybe you're going to send out some marketing messages once a week, but it's
Mhm.
probably not always to the same customers, right?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe the first week of November, it is to the people who've purchased 8 or more bottles of this vintage of
Ah.
Pinot
Mhm.
to let them know that, hey, we're running low. I set some aside for you. Would
Mm.
you like me to ship those or may I release them? By the way, if I ship them this week, you'll have it in time for Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And that wouldn't go to the folks who never buy Pinot from you.
Right. Exactly. Very focused messaging, if you will.
Mhm.
Right person, right time concept. Yeah. No, that's
Exactly. I mean,
great.
think about, your customers have given you this gift of being
Hmm.
able to reach them in their pocket where they
Yeah.
are every day, whether they're eating dinner, playing with their kids, at
Hmm.
work, building their business, whatever they're doing. You're intruding in their lives with that text message.
Yeah.
So, do your best. And this is great for the winery space because they are hospitalitarians by nature, right? Do
Hmm.
your best to make sure that when you do that, you're delivering something truly valuable to them.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
when you do, that's when you make these magical relationships with people where they love getting your texts, where they stay in your club longer than they would have, when they
Hmm.
tell all their friends that you've got to text. My friend Libby at Brie Callure, their club's amazing. That's when those relationships get made.
I love it. I love it. Talk to me about their three plans plus an enterprise plan. How do I know, as a winery, how do I know which plan to get on? I mean, you probably help advise on
Mhm.
that, but what if I'm just looking at the website for the first time? Where should I put myself? What should I look at in my own business to make that decision?
Yeah. So my first piece of advice would be if you're thinking about Redchirp at all, schedule a demo with me
Mhm.
because we do
Good.
very personalized demos that will
And they're very
dial
good.
in.
Yes.
Thank you. They'll dial in on what's important to
Hmm.
you. And I promise it will be worth your time and not a bunch of fluff that isn't
Hmm.
helpful. Part of that could also be helping you decide which plan is right for you.
Okay.
Of course, everyone likes to do their research first.
Sure.
Just like your customers at your
Yep.
winery want to know like
Yeah.
about how much does your wine cost, right?
Hmm.
So we've tried to have these simple plans that demystify so you know what you're getting into.
Hmm.
We have plans that start at $99 a month.
Hmm.
That's our solopreneur plan. So if it's one person that's texting, this is a great place to start.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
That is going to include the one user,
Hmm.
500 regular SMS each month. Going over is fine. You just pay per additional message.
Okay.
Now, if you're going to have a bigger team that's texting, or you're going to send a lot more messages, then you might want to look at one of our higher plans. So, really, you're thinking about how many people on my team are going to text and how many
Hmm.
messages do you think we're going to send. The standard plan is up to 10 users, the pro plan is up to 50 users. We can customize and make something for your unique situation.
Okay.
And something that's really important to us is that it's no risk. You
Hmm.
can try it out. If it doesn't work, no problem. You can cancel anytime, although nobody does that, thank goodness. And you can also change. So you might say, hey, I'm going to start with just 2 users. I'm going to do the
Hmm.
solopreneur plan. I'm going to pay $50 a month to add a second user. And then this was awesome. We're selling so much wine. Our members love it. I'm going to get a bunch of more people on my team texting, and you can move up to the standard. You can do that anytime, and it's all prorated to the day.
That's great. Very, very easy to understand, but I definitely encourage anybody who's listening, get that demo, because not only will it help you figure out the pricing side and where you should be, but you're going to learn a lot. And, this is a newer area. This is definitely something that, is newer for wineries, and to take advantage of it, you got to know how it works. And that's, a demo will go and say it again. You're very good at the demos. Very good. We
Well,
learned
thank you.
we learned a lot when we did the demo. We came in as if we owned our own winery. I wanted to be that
Uh,
customer on the other end to really understand, what it's like. This has been awesome. I mean, you have provided an incredible amount of, and I love the way you answer the questions. The one, two, three, four. You're very succinct in everything, and I mean, so much so that I'm remembering where you left off. I'm like, hey, she only got up to 3 on that one. She's got 2 more to go to answer the rest of that. So this has been really good, and I hope that wineries, start to embrace, more and more new technology. Sounds like they're already doing it, but early days, right? Early days,
mhm.
and lots of room for more wineries to get on board. We're starting to see it on the email marketing side, but what you're offering, is a really good platform that will help them do something that they may not be doing. And then they don't have to call your husband and leave 7-minute voicemail messages anymore. And I won't bring that
Please
up again, but
don't.
I'm just blown away by,
Oh, me
by that.
so
Yeah, by
too.
that.
Please don't.
Very nice. Well, Jennie, ready to get into some rapid fire questions to kind of get out of that. We'll get out of
Mm,
the software world for a moment and get into life.
ready.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
So
I'm ready.
what gets you excited to wake up and tackle the day each and every day?
Okay, so I'm a super early riser.
Mm. Nice.
My husband's up around 4. I'm up
Wow.
around 5, and my motivation is to get something done before our 3-year-old gets up.
Wow. What time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed if you guys are getting up that early? That's amazing.
Well, that's the other side. So about 8 o'clock, we're really early to bed,
Oh,
folks. Yeah.
wow. Very
Yeah.
nice. You go to bed at the same time my kids go to bed. That's amazing. I love it. You're part of that club. There's that 4 o'clock, that 4 a.m. and
hmm
5 a.m. club out there that I have not joined yet. I'm the
Yeah.
6:30 club. That's
Oh,
that's
but
a
like if I could get an hour or two of some quiet work
mm,
in
yeah.
before the little one gets up, oh, the day is
Yeah.
off to a great start.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. So when you get up that early, what's your drink of choice?
Oh, great question. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Oh,
I
okay.
appreciate it occasionally, but
Uh-huh.
not a everyday coffee drinker. So I just start with lots of ice water in the morning. If I'm
Wow.
going to be talking a lot, some unsweet tea like today.
Yeah,
But
look
all
at
the
that.
interesting beverages happen later in the day for me.
All right. I like it. I like it. Well, that's very, very interesting. We have not had anybody come on and say ice water for the morning, but I can see the benefits of that. And,
Yeah, I will.
it's there it is. Very nice. And,
Mhm.
and yes, you have to talk all day long. You want to preserve those vocal cords.
Yeah, I
Um,
love a glass of ice water, and I like to wash my face with cold water in the morning, and it just wakes me up, gets me
I've
ready.
I've I've heard I forget who it was talked about that. They said, yeah, that wash your face, like get that cold water on your
Mhm.
face. It will change your whole. Jerry Seinfeld, that's what he does. I don't know. He,
Oh,
he was he was on a podcast talking about that one time.
I'm in good
Um,
company.
so let's talk about that drink later on in the afternoonish, eveningish.
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite wine?
Oh, whatever bottle is open in front of me. No. We love wine in our house, have for many years. We're super nerdy about our wine. I mean, so
Nice.
we love
Ooh.
to go wine tasting. I think we're on our second or third wine tasting notebook where we take
Oh wow.
notes.
Nice.
And then we love to, collect and age things ourselves. My husband went to culinary school, so we both had
Oh
very different plans originally, and
wow.
he's this amazing chef that he
Oh
does just for fun now.
oh my
So
gosh.
I love to see like what he's going to come up with to go with wine. But let's see.
Wow.
Lately, I feel like the older I get, the more I appreciate Chardonnay, which I
Mm,
didn't used to
mhm,
like at all.
mhm.
But especially a Chardonnay with a little bit of age on it, I really enjoy lately and getting to know more about those. And over the last few months, we're kind of discovering that we love Syrah, even though we
Mm.
didn't drink a lot of that before.
Interesting. Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
how about you?
I've discovered a lot of Italian and French wine. Funny living in
Mhm.
Sonoma County for so long, you didn't talk about wine from other parts of the world, and I was like, I
Mhm.
just never, I wasn't really exposed to them that much until actually I came here to Austin, where there's a wine region here, and it's starting to grow. And I happened to be in a store, a nice store out called Central Market, and they have wines from all over the world. So I just asked the guy, take me on a
Uh-huh.
tour. I don't know. I mean,
Nice.
please tell me what it's like. I don't necessarily know if I have one specific. There is an Italian wine. I forget the name of it, but I'll post it in there if anybody can find it anywhere. But it is, and I'm
Mhm.
very into clean wines,
Mhm.
organic, sustainable. And you get that a lot with European. I know that's a big movement now in the United States as well. People are moving in that direction, and that's good. You want to balance it, right? Sometimes clean doesn't mean taste good, so you want to be careful there. But these practices have been done for centuries in Europe. So I'm very into that. I'm experimenting. I'm trying different things, out there. And sometimes a rosé, by the way, I'm not
Mhm.
afraid to say it. I
Oh, yeah,
like a dry rosé. I just
rosé
even
all
during the
day.
winter, yeah, rosé all day. There you
Huh.
go. There you go.
I mean,
I
that's
love that.
one of the most amazing things about wine is that
Hmm.
you're never going to taste them all. They're never going to be the same. If you find the wine you love the
Right.
best of all, there's only so
Hmm.
much of it, and it's not going to be the same next year. It's
That is
part of
true.
why I love it so much.
That is true. I know the 2019 vintage of this Italian wine, which I have to get the name, is they're going to be moving on. I think they're wrapping up, and I'm
Mhm.
like, no, hold on a second. How many more cases are left in the back? I need all of them because
Stock it
I
up.
2020 wine might not be so good in there. So that's very cool. It sounds like you guys, and hey, you happen to be working in a great industry then, providing software in a fantastic industry that you love as well.
Oh,
So it's a
the people
win-win.
are so lovely.
They are.
On either side of this expo last week, we visited customers. It's delightful all the way around, and I love the enthusiasm and just how much they genuinely care about their
Mhm.
customers and their members.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I
awesome
love
to
those. I love those old stories, right? I mean, a lot of wineries, Dry Creek Vineyards. We've got a friend over there, and on the website, I was taking a look, and it's the history of the father and how they thought
Uh-huh,
about, where he came up with this idea and how he ended up in Napa and all of a sudden started what he did, or I think in Sonoma,
uh-huh.
in Dry Creek Valley, and just I love those stories. Those are, and they're at the end of the day, it's an agricultural business, right? It's the earth,
Mhm,
that's what makes them such nice people. I think is just that
mhm.
they're around beautiful things all day long. So
Yeah, it's
it's
this wonderful intersection of, agriculture, the science, the artistry, the culture of it. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
a great connection
Yeah.
of all this.
So tell me, besides the job that you're doing
Mhm.
now, if you weren't doing it, what would you be doing?
Ooh, that's a good question. We're just so nose to the grindstone, focused on growing. So when we take a break from working, my husband taught me to love vacation. So we love
Mm,
going to the Caribbean. That's kind of our
nice.
favorite place to go. And coming up, we're very excited to finally take this vacation that we planned for 2020
Mm,
and have pushed back several years. And
yeah.
next year, we're going to go to Turks and Caicos and take
Oh,
our little
wow.
one for the first time. So that's going to be a whole new adventure
Oh,
to
wow.
go out of the country with our son and
Yeah.
see what it looks like.
Well, you
It's
couldn't
going to
pick a
be some
better
wine.
place. I've never been, but it's every picture. If you're going to go there, with kids, yeah, it's very relaxing. It's not stressful.
What do
So
they
nice.
do on vacation with kids? You just watch them
Yes,
in another city or something like that.
I love it.
But I think it's going to be really fun.
So tell me, obviously being the software business, what is your go-to software, SaaS software or app on your phone, the one you
Mhm.
can't live without?
Ooh, okay. So work-wise, my absolute favorite tool that I've used for years, it gets better and better. It's not expensive. I don't go a day without using it, is this tool called Snagit by TechSmith.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Super easy screen capture software, and you can add, bubbles and arrows, and you can do short, super simple
Nice.
videos. And in, troubleshooting and telling people
Right.
how to take these steps, it has just been super valuable. So I can't go probably even half a day without using that tool.
I'm with you on that. I went back actually the other day and I looked in a 1 week span. I think I had like 50 screenshots of something with an
Uh-huh.
arrow pointing here, an arrow
Yep.
pointing there. It is an unbelievable tool. If you, yeah, anybody not using screenshot, get on
Uh-huh.
board quick. You need it.
Yes, yeah, I love that tool. I've used it for years and years and years.
And what about personally? What's your go-to app personally
Oh,
outside of
hold
work?
on, let me open my phone and see. That's a good question. Personally, um probably the most used on my phone would be Netflix because of
Ah,
my little kiddo,
right.
or YouTube. He likes to say, is there anything new on YouTube? I'm like,
Right.
yes, there's
Yes.
always something new on
Every
YouTube.
second there's something new on
Yeah.
YouTube. Very
And
nice.
whenever we do have to travel,
Mm,
we like to take
yeah.
little videos of, oh, there's a
Oh, that's
bird at the
cool.
airport, or here's a tour of a hotel room. I don't know why he likes to see the mini fridges. And then we pop those up on YouTube and send the
Uh,
links because we get hours of entertainment later where he
uh,
wants to go back and watch the Santa Rosa room tour video.
I love it. That's so cool. Very interesting. Maybe something in there, something to keep your eye
Yeah.
on there.
How about you, though? I feel like I'm
Ah,
probably missing out
yeah.
on something fun I should be using.
Well, I'd say from a business standpoint, Slack is by far even more so than email. I think that's been a transition. I mean, we use it religiously, all day long. I
Hmm.
find it to be an incredible tool. Gets better and better every year. Now they have all that Salesforce money, so I'm sure it'll just get even
Hmm.
better. On the personal side, it's Medium lately. Medium
Yeah.
app I love reading the content on there. I wonder sometimes how much of that content is now AI created. Did a
Mm-hmm.
bot create that? But there's some specific people I follow,
Yeah.
and I learn a lot, and it satisfies my entrepreneurial spirit, because there are a lot of people on Medium who are entrepreneurs, and they're trying to talk that life. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
great. I love that. So tell me your favorite online store and why.
Ooh, good question. My favorite online store. Ooh,
It could be Amazon.
tough one. No, I don't tend to buy a ton through there. Um, that's a good question. Favorite online store. So I'm a big fan of these shoes called Brothy shoes.
Oh.
They're made of like all recyclable material, but the best thing is that you can throw them in the washing machine
Oh, wow.
and they're
Okay.
all flat. So
Hmm.
I'm a huge fan of those. COVID completely killed heels for me. I used to dress up and go to the office and wear heels every day. And now I work from home and I feel just ridiculous clomping around my house in high heels. So I pretty much exclusively wear flat shoes. And I love this brand. Wish I could afford
Wow.
more of them because you can get them, you don't have to worry at all and you can just throw them in the washing machine.
And look how fast Michael is, for anybody who's watching behind the scenes. He's got it already up there, showing everybody. That's awesome. All right, very
Yeah,
interesting. Do they
they have
men's as well?
expanded to men's shoes and
Huh?
bags. I've just tried some of the originals.
They look great. They look super comfortable, and you're right. Yeah, walking around your own house in heels probably not that. You can ruin your own floors. You don't want to do that
You just feel
in there.
silly. And
Yeah.
you're gonna get knocked over by a
Yeah,
kid or a
exactly.
dog or
Exactly. Well, Jenny, this has been an unbelievable conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I almost forgot we were doing a podcast. I felt like we were just talking about
hmm
life and about the winery space and about Redchirp, and just a really, really insightful conversation. And I hope that, viewers out there, whether you listen to it live or you listen to it on the rebroadcast, that you really go and give Redchirp a try. I mean, it is about growing your business, but it's also about building relationships, especially in the winery space. And that is what Redchirp allows you to do. I think, if you boil it down to all things, it's all about building these relationships and talking to your customers, getting them the information they need when they need it. So thank you very much for coming on. Maybe take a moment and let everybody know where they can find out about Redchirp and maybe where they can schedule a demo with you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure.
Such an expert at this. It was an absolute pleasure. Time flew by and I forgot I was even on camera. So thank you for your
Of
expert
course.
interviewing.
Sure.
If you're sitting there and you're interested in learning more about texting, please go to
Hmm.
redchirp.com.
Hmm.
Red like the color, chirp like the bird. Redchirp.com. You can schedule a free demo. I promise it'll be worth your time. It will be
Hmm.
hyper specific to your needs. We'll go at your pace. And even if you never end up trying Redchirp, you'll leave with something that'll be helpful to your future strategies. I promise.
You sure will. And great name, by the way. I love how you get, the name Redchirp. Very easy to remember.
Thank
Very
you.
easy.
It's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
small feat to come up with a name.
Yes, those are hard. Those are hard. Well, Jenny, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and give those demos and sign more wineries. And we look forward to working with you as well. And we really appreciate everything you've done for us and introducing us out there to the various folks in the wine industry that we need to know and learn and talk to. So thank you again for that.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. That brings us to the end of another podcast. Really enjoyed this podcast. It really was truly like a conversation. And hopefully, those of you listening, whether live again or in the rebroadcast, you get something out of this and take away, and definitely reach out to Redchirp. As always, if you need help with any of your email marketing automation strategy plans for your winery, reach out to us. Go to skuagency.com/wine and book a 15-minute complimentary call, and we will walk you through what we do and how we can do it and how we can help. And if you're using Redchirp, how we can integrate Klaviyo with Redchirp and make that world work really well together. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great